Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of Par 71 with Matt LaSerre. I'm Matt LaSerre, your host. Obviously, it is in the title. We got a jam-packed episode for you guys today. We got Tiger releasing more of what he's playing. Phil a little bit in there with the same thing. We got obviously Jordan Spieth's big win with the RBC Heritage yesterday and previewing the Zurich Classic. And lastly, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of college golf in there because, you know what, no one really talks about it that much. We only see it come on once a year, really. And it's a cool, different thing to talk about that you don't really see on most podcasts. But again, this is Par 71 with Matt LaSerre, presented by Tunnel Vision Sports. And before we get into our jam-packed episode, like I just said, I have a few housekeeping things I want to go over. Just kind of announcements, I guess. So, like I said last time, I want to make this very fan engaged. I want you guys to DM me questions. I want to be able to answer them on the podcast and do we'll say 2 to 3 is my main goal. But obviously, if it blows up, we can do 5. We could even do at one point a whole episode over it. But obviously, you guys need to DM me questions before. And I realized last week when I said that, I didn't give you a place to actually DM me at. That is my fault. That is my bad. But I have made an Instagram account for the podcast at Par71 Podcast on Instagram. Follow it. I'm going to put a lot of more graphics and stuff on there to promote everything. So there'll probably be some content up there before this actually comes out. Because if you guys listen to other Tunnel Vision podcasts, the baseball one that we have, he's done a really good job promoting himself on his Instagram and making his own graphics and videos and stuff, and I want to kind of try to do that. I really like it, and I want to try to do it myself. So I'm going to try pumping out as much content as I can for you guys that is related to golf. So go follow the Instagram at Par71 Podcast, and DM me questions. Again, I want eventually the end part of this podcast every time to be your questions. Maybe not necessarily the end, but we'll figure that out when we get there. I just want you guys to ask questions. I want to be able to answer them. I want some good fan engagement on this podcast. I don't want it just to be me talking about golf and just headlines. Let's get some interesting stuff on here and let's make it different. So send me questions and I will for sure answer them. Secondly is my studio. To go off of that, if you're listening on Spotify and you're pulling into your garage or something, you're into your drive. I only say that because I feel like everyone listens to podcasts for the most part when they're in the car. I mean, I know that's when I listen to them. I don't really like to sit down on my couch to listen to a podcast. I mean, I don't know how you guys are. Maybe you do. Gladly still listen. However you listen to podcasts, but I feel like most people listen to them in the car. I don't know. It's what I think. But if you're nearing the end of your drive and you're in the middle of it, head over to YouTube. This is available as a video as well. You can see my facial reaction rather than just the audio. On YouTube at the Tunnel Vision Sports YouTube channel. So please go check that out if you get a chance. But with that being said, my studio, it's not really a studio. It's my bedroom, as you can see probably. And when I go home for the summer to Dallas, I have a whole setup idea. I'm going to have some place where I only record this and I don't do anything else there for the most part, like an office kind of setup. Rather than my bedroom. I'm going to have a real camera, so the quality is going to be better. I'm just trying to make this as best as possible, and I think that's the next best thing I can do. I can do the Instagram, and then I can do that to make it more visually pleasing for everybody. I also bought a new mic, if you can see it in the corner right here. So it should sound better than last time. Last time it was just off of the mic through the webcam I'm using. So it should be more focused or something. It should be better and sound more clear, less stuff going on in the background. So that's great. With that being said, this is being recorded on Monday, April 18th, and it's going to come out on Thursday. So if there's anything that happens between now and Thursday and it's not on here, that is why. It's actually my third time recording this because First time didn't save for some reason. Second time, my roommate set off the fire alarm. Third time's a charm, right? So let's get into it. And let's start off with the RBC Heritage, which was won by one of my personal favorite golfers on tour, Jordan Spieth. That's the second straight week someone from the University of Texas / Dallas area, my hometown, has won on the tour. Obviously, last week was Scottie Scheffler with the Masters. I got a new hat. I got a Masters hat just to wear on this podcast. And Jordan won in dramatic fashion. He rose 8 spots in round 4 to be able to get to victory. He was actually the 6th from last group. So he was the clubhouse leader and had to wait for everyone to get in, and then had a playoff on top of that after waiting for probably an hour and a half, which is a long time to wait to then have to go right away and play. This is his 13th win ever on tour. He's now 11th all time on the PGA Tour money list. He finally is back in the World Golf Rankings top 10. It's been a long time coming. Glad to see Jordan back on the top. Very interesting stat from this too. This is actually the second straight time that Jordan has won on Easter Sunday. Last year it was the Valero Texas Open and TPC San Antonio. And this year it was the RBC Heritage at Harbortown. And I mean, it's just kind of funny because if you look at the schedule for next year and what falls on Easter Sunday, it is none other than the Masters. So obviously we're a year out from that, but something to think about, something little. But Jordan, the interesting part about this round from Jordan was that he even said it himself post-round. He basically played without a putter. He won without a putter because his putting was not good. I mean, and that's putting it lightly, to be honest. On a strokes gain just on Sunday, so just in round 4, he only gained 0.397 strokes on the putting surface, and his average for the week for strokes gained putting was negative 0.636. So he actually, overall on the tournament, he lost strokes putting. So literally imagine if he was able to putt and he was doing his normal numbers, which are amazing. Because ever since not when he came on tour, but when he started winning and really came onto the tour scene in around 2014, 2015, especially when he won the Masters, the US Open, and Tour Championship, along with 2 other events sprinkled in there. He was known for his really good putting. That was Jordan's thing. That's what everyone knew Jordan for, really. I mean, he would look at the hole sometimes and not the ball when he putt. This is what people really knew him for, was his putting, was his short game. And his putting really just hasn't been there. Like I said, the stats don't lie. He lost strokes putting on the week. And the biggest show of it is if you look at his on 18th green on Saturday in round 3, he actually had a tap in that he missed and went all around a putt. Now, we've all been there. If you play golf, we've all had those moments. It's weird to see a tour pro do that because you don't expect that from them. I mean, these are the best players in the world. But that really showed his putting was when he 3-putt for bogey and ended up getting a bogey on 18 on Saturday. And if you look back, I mean, he won this in a playoff in dramatic fashion, and we'll get into that in a second. But if you go back to that putt, and he basically lost, if you round up, he lost 1 stroke putting for the week. That really was the 1 stroke. Because if he makes that putt instead of it lipping around and do a toilet bowl, he's not in the playoff and he's in the winner's circle without having to play that 1 extra hole that he did against Patrick Cantlay. That is it. The tournament's over. But again, he still was able to get the win. And if you really were watching on Sunday, I mean, there were, tied for a 10th was 11 under, which was only 2 strokes back. And in between that, so we can just count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There were 11 players with about 5 holes left. So Jordan Spieth finished. He was 6th to last group. Clubhouse leader at 13 under. And there were 10 more players that were still in contention with anywhere between 2 to 5 holes left that were within 1 or 2 strokes. And that's why I just think in general, everything kind of went perfectly with everyone doing with what happened to everyone else, how everyone else played down the stretch at the end. It kind of everything went right for Jordan to win, right? Because, I mean, you had Sepp Straka, who was coming down on 18 at 13 under, actually, because he had birdied the par 3 17th. So all he had to do was par, and he's tied with Jordan Spieth. He's in this playoff, and he bogeyed the 18th to drop him down. And then you look at Shane Lowry, who also was at 12 under, 1 stroke back, or finished at 1 stroke back. He doubled the par 3 14th, which kind of took him out of it. And then even Van Ruin, who, by the way, if you watch golf, you know this guy has the best mustache on tour. This is what, first ever par 71 award goes to Eric Van Ruin. Ruinen, I'm going to look that up later. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry if it's wrong. I'll fix it if it is, or someone tell me and I'll correct myself. Best mustache on tour, by far. Actually, when I was at the Players a few weeks ago, we were sitting on 17 at Steep Sea Sawgrass, and he was coming up, and there's a little kid. This little kid must have been like, wow, like, look at that thing. And then he just goes to the kid, can you grow one yet? So he seems like a funny, cool guy. Par 71, best mustache on tour goes to Eric Van Ruinen. But he had a good tournament. He finished at 11 under, so 2 strokes back in the end. And his first 5 holes, he went birdie, 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 birdie. So 4 birdies back to back to back to back on 2, 3, 4, and 5. So he really had a chance. He then bogeyed 7 and birdied 9. But the back 9 just was not it for him. He bogeyed 10, 12, 15, and 16, which kind of took him out. Like, basically, the theme I'm saying is, it just seemed like the way everyone ended up playing down the stretch, the stars just aligned for Jordan to win. That's just what it seemed like. It was just like everything was going right to make it happen. And, I mean, you can do it with countless players. Like, let's look at Tommy Fleetwood's scorecard real quick. He had 2 bogeys early in the round on 1 and 4 that ended up being the difference, and he finished at 11 under, 2 strokes back. Other than that, he had a good round. He had 1, 2, 3, 5 birdies on the day, and those were his only 2 bogeys, which ended up being a huge difference, because without those 2 bogeys, he's in the playoff with him and Cantlay. So, I mean, you really look, and now that we kind of went over all that, we can go into the playoff. The playoff one was only 1 hole. Cantlay was one of the last to finish, so he didn't have to wait very long. I think he might have been in the last group, actually. I can't really remember. But it was Jordan Spieth versus Cantlay, which now, after this tournament, is a top 10 world golf ranking matchup. Cantlay is, let's see, I'm not really sure exactly what Cantlay is at. Let's look this up real quick. I think he's top 5, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he's number 4. So you had, after this tournament, obviously, because they both moved up, but Cantlay and Jordan Spieth, right now, that's a top 10 world golf ranking matchup for a playoff. Normally, we don't see that. Normally, it's one big name or one like semi-big name that you've heard before, maybe he's won before, versus someone who's young trying to get their first tour win. But this one was just really a battle of heavyweights, which was, thought it would be fun to watch, but it ended pretty fast, as it was only 1 hole. Cantlay didn't even finish out the hole because he just wasn't going to par and tie Jordan. But Jordan went into the bunker on his approach shot, greenside bunker, and he had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and he just put it to like 1 or 2 feet. It was just a tap in for the win. It was really a great shot. Jordan has a history of doing these heroics in a playoff. I mean, just not even in a playoff, but like from a bunker, greenside bunker on 18. Just think about the Travelers Championship a few years ago when he holed it to win out of the 18 greenside bunker. He just has a knack for the dramatics and being able to come out under this pressure because he knows how to handle it. Cantlay has won. He's been very good recently. He was also on the Ryder Cup team with Jordan, so he had a matchup of Ryder Cup teammates. And Cantlay's not bad by any means, but I just think Jordan loves this pressure. He knows how to deal with it. He's been there so many times. I mean, he's won 3 majors. He'll be going for the PGA Championship here in a few weeks to complete the career Grand Slam. He's used to this, right? Like, he should always be here. He hasn't been in the winner's circle that much lately. Obviously, his last win, like I said earlier, was the Valero Texas Open last year, not this year. So it's good to see him back winning, especially after he missed the cut last week at the Masters. And that's one of his favorite tournaments. And he even said something post round about it that he wasn't happy and that it felt good for him to finally be back at that spot and playing well after last week. So hopefully he continues it into the PGA Championship. One thing I also want to talk about, if I can find him here on the leaderboard, let's see. Ricky Fowler. So Ricky Fowler, to be honest, when was the last time you heard about him playing well on tour? He hasn't. He's kind of fallen off. He didn't even qualify for the Masters this year. And so we were all hoping he was playing today, or not today, last weekend. And man, he's just not playing well. He finished at 8 under. He went 76-74 for a total of 150 and missed the cut. We all want to see Ricky do well. Something I said in my article after round 1 was that if you really look, his short game and his irons, he's hitting around 50% both greens, at least this week he did, both greens and fairways in regulation. So even if your driver's not bad, because we've seen players on tour not really play well driving-wise. Scottie Scheffler last week did not drive the ball well, but his short game was just amazing to where he was able to run away with a green jacket. I think if Ricky can get his short game more down pat, so if he can get more up and downs, it will save a lot of these big rounds for him. 76-74 for someone who was not even used to be like a year or two ago, was on the top of the list for everyone of best players to not win a major. And now he can't make a cut right now. And it's very disappointing to see. Again, I just think if the short game can do better, because even in his putting, there's no really short game stats here on the PGA Tour website or on their round stats. But he lost almost a stroke putting. He lost more strokes putting than Jordan did, and Jordan won. The difference between him and Jordan was that he couldn't hit the fairways of the greens. So if he can not even just hit the fairways, if he can just chip well and get those chips close for tap-ins for par, he's there making the cut, and he's back in contention with everything. So hopefully we get to see Ricky back soon. I think he's one of the most personable and best players on tour to watch, because everyone just loves Ricky, right? Everyone sees him. I mean, this is a guy who was in the first ever Olympics for U.S. golf. We need him back. It would be great for the tour if he can come back and start playing well, and we're all rooting for him. Ricky, if you're listening to this, we're all rooting for you. I doubt you're listening to it, but if you are on the off chance. And also last week I had mentioned Morgan Hoffman, who was coming back from having muscular dystrophy. Not coming back, you're always going to have that, but he's trying to get back on tour while he can. He just missed the cut, I believe. Yeah, he ended at 1 under. The cut line was even, so he was only 1 stroke off. Obviously, he hasn't played on tour since 2019, so you can't have high expectations here. And even if looking at his first round, he had 3 birdies on the front 9, 1 bogey, and then just 2 bogeys on the back. And then in his second round, he went even on the front with a birdie and a bogey, and then had a birdie and 2 bogeys on the back. So really, the back 9 is what killed him. But that's by no means bad for someone who hasn't played on tour since 2019. Like, you and I can't walk on tour and shoot 1 over 2 days. Like, that's still, and a lot of tournaments +1 will make the cut. So hopefully we get to see him soon. I believe, so before this, he had 3 tournaments left on like his medical exemption. So we should get to see him 2 more times and try to get his tour card back. Let's hope. It's a great story coming back and just trying to play while he can before, obviously, his disease takes over. So, again, hopefully we get to see him again soon. Other than that, that's all I have for the RBC Heritage. It's cool. Again, a lot of fun. You had 11 players in contention going down the stretch on Sunday. 11. That is not a number we see a lot. I hope that we can get a major where we're seeing that many players in contention, because, I would just be glued to the screen. I don't know if you're a golf fan. I know you will be too. It's just more fun to watch when there's a lot more people. And plus, the names in the top of this leaderboard were pretty big names. You had Matt Kuchar, Jordan Spieth, Patrick Cantlay, Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, the best mustache on tour. These aren't even like no names. These are good names. You even had Daniel Berger not far behind, Billy Horschel. You had a lot of good names who were up there on this leaderboard this week. And it was a great week, and it ended up being a great ending with Jordan winning. Again, I think the stars just aligned, and it was his time again. But yeah, that's all I have for RBC Heritage. And next up, we are going to go to the match. I forgot to say this earlier. TNT announced that, or Bleacher Report TNT announced another version of the match. We've seen the Tiger Phil why can't I say DeChambeau, Koepka, all those, and the football players coming in. This is the first one that doesn't feature a golfer. It is Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. So it's basically the old guys versus the new bloods for quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't really have much to say about it. It's going to be June 1st at Wynn Las Vegas. And I don't know. I know Aaron Rodgers is pretty decent at golf. Tom Brady's okay. I know Mahomes is actually pretty good, but I know nothing about Josh Allen golfing wise. We'll talk about it more as we get to it. But just big for the sport. It'll be fun to watch. Obviously, it always is. It's entertainment factor. It's only a 12-hole match, just like Bryson and Brooks was a few months ago, or not a few months ago. Like, man, are we coming up on a year on that? No, it was in the fall, I think, right? But yeah, it's always fun. It's just weird that there's no tour players in it this time, because I feel like that's the coolest part of it is you have the tour players playing with these other sports. So it'll be interesting. If I were to make a pick right now, I would say Rodgers and Brady, just because I've seen them golf before. I mean, Patrick Mahomes plays in the celebrity tournament in Tahoe every year. But it's like, I don't know anything about Josh Allen, and I couldn't even find the format on it when I was reading on it. So we'll see. All I know is a 12-hole match. I don't know how they're doing it, if they're doing 4-ball or if they're doing alternate shot or something like that. But I do think in general, my pick right now is Tom Brady, Rodgers. We'll talk about it more as it gets closer. Obviously, it's in June. We still got over a month until that. So I'll give you my official pick when the time comes, but not right now. So, but again, that's just cool to see the matches coming back again. There'll be a lot of money raised towards charity and a lot of entertainment for us. Maybe we'll get to see Charles Barkley chirping again. It's just overall, it's a fun thing. So the match, June 1st, Wynn Las Vegas, I believe on TNT. Not to promote that, but not to promote for TNT, but watch that. It's always fun to watch. Like, it's two people who don't play golf. It'll probably be like watching like your buddies play golf, except maybe a little better, because these are like pure athletes, like some of the best athletes in the world. So, I mean, it's always fun to watch. So now, speaking of the match, let's get into former people who have played the match multiple times, Tiger Woods and Phil. So Tiger, after the Masters to Sky Sports, he committed to playing in the British Open at St. Andrews, which he's won there before. If you know anything about golf, you know that St. Andrews is the oldest course ever. It is known as the first golf course in Scotland, or first golf course in the world, located in Scotland. It's always a fun place to watch. It's just cool. It's a lot of scenic and famous holes on that course. Like, you got the shared 1 and 18 fairway, which is just huge. You got the road hole 17. You just got a lot of like iconic things going on with the St. Andrews, the town and the course. It's always cool, and it's the 150th British Open. Again, Tiger has won there before, so it's going to be cool to see him come back. Other than that, Tiger also filed to officially play in the U.S. Open at Brookline. Along with him to do it was Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson, we have not seen play. He's been quiet ever since he made comments about the PGA Tour versus the new LIV Tour. And if you haven't heard of the LIV Tour, you might have heard of a new Saudi-backed league. That's what a lot of people were calling it before the name came out. That the commissioner is Greg Norman, that he's trying to... Basically, the rumors have been that they're throwing money at players to... It's like a salary instead of winning as well, like money. It's a whole thing. We'll get into that more in like the next 2 weeks. The LIV Golf Tour, just as golf news gets slow right before the PGA Championship, it'll be pretty slow, and then PGA Championship will hit. It'll be a lot of golf news, obviously, because that's the next major, and that's in May. So the next week or two, we'll talk about that. But just for now, like Phil Mickelson's basically went against PGA Tour, saying that the PGA Tour is a dictatorship. After the PGA Tour said if anyone were to play on the LIV Golf Tour, they would ban them, which, like, we obviously don't know. We have a lot of stuff to play out in that, and there's still stuff we need to find out about that. But again, we'll get into that. I need to do more research on that personally. We'll talk about that more in like a week or two. Again, just as golf news gets slow. But Phil Mickelson has filed to play in the U.S. Open, and it's the first time we're going to see him since playing and making those comments. We didn't see him in the Players. We didn't see him in the Masters. So hopefully we get to see him again, and hey, maybe he can finally complete that career Grand Slam. For those of you who don't know, Phil Mickelson literally has more second place finishes in the U.S. Open than anybody else. And that is the only major he needs to complete the career Grand Slam. And he's just been trying so long that when you go into the U.S. Open, that is always a headline. Is that, can Phil win finally? Can finally Phil win? I mean, he has won. He did win the PGA Championship, so he is still capable of winning a major. But at the same time, if he doesn't do it this year or in the next few years, I don't think it's going to happen. He's just getting old, and all these new younger players are the big wave on tour, the new technology, the working out, and everything. It's just, he's running out of time, in my opinion. Now, I do think he showed he could do it by winning the PGA Championship, but he needs to show it again. Like, let's get it. I think everybody wants Phil to win the U.S. Open, and it would be great to see. It'd be great for golf. It'd be great for TV, but it's just something that's so hard now with the age gap and everything. Again, I hope he does, but in reality, I don't know. I don't know. I would love to see if it happen. I love Phil. I'm a huge Phil fan. I think he's funny. I think he's great for the sport. He's a great character. Great overall, but glad we're going to get to see him play again soon. Hopefully nothing happens, but again, right now, maybe we can see him at the PGA Championship. Who knows? I mean, that's at Southern Hills in a few months, and a little secret is I might be going to that. Don't know yet, but I'm working on it because I'll be only 4 hours away in Dallas, so I might be going to the PGA Championship. I know I'm going to Byron Nelson the week before, but I might be going to the PGA Championship too. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. But might make for some good content on the new Instagram at Par71. Follow it. At Par71 Podcast. Sorry, follow it. Yeah, but I might be going. So hopefully he gets to play in that. We'll see. So, and and Tiger did commit to playing one event the week before the British Open. He committed to playing the JP McManus Pro-Am the week before St. Andrews. I got to be honest with you guys, I never heard of this tournament before. But there is a lot of names playing in it. You got Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, and is at Adair Manor, which is the host site of the 2027 Ryder Cup. Now, obviously, 2027 is a long ways away. That's 5 years from now. So who knows? I mean, these players could be doing it for that so they can say they've played it and like have a little bit of experience on it. But that's so far down the road that I don't think that's really what these players are worried about. I think they're more worried about getting a course that is styled the same way as St. Andrews the week before the British Open, so they're ready for that. That's what a lot of players do is they'll go overseas a week or two before the British Open and either get to the British Open and just stay and practice there, or they'll play another tournament, a European Tour tournament, to get ready, because a lot of courses that are used for the British Open are more link style courses, so it's a lot different the way you play it than a normal course in the US that we're used to seeing. It's a lot more bump and runs or a lot more rolling fairways to where the ball will roll out really easily. And then the weather is obviously completely different. I mean, whenever they play the British Open, we always see them wearing pullovers and jackets in July, which for us over here, it's like, why are you wearing a jacket in July? It's July, it's the summer. Like, why would you need a jacket? But the climate is just completely different. So a lot of players like to go over and get started early and just get used to that. So they're not jet lagged, because obviously it's a long flight. A lot of them are coming from the US. So it's overall, for the most part, it normally benefits them to go early. And that's just what this is doing. So yeah, Tiger, we'll see him play. We have, as far as we know, for right now, we know he's going to play in 3 events: the US Open, the British Open, and the JP McManus Pro-Am. So I haven't heard anything about I have not heard anything about the PGA. Maybe I missed it. If someone has, let me know. I have not seen anything about him playing the PGA at Southern Hills. He has played Southern Hills before. Has he won at Southern Hills? I think Tiger might have. I have a feeling Tiger might have won at Southern Hills the last time it was there. So obviously, if you didn't know, the PGA Championship got moved to May a few years ago. And it was basically, the reason why they did this was to, number one, they're building the PGA headquarters in my hometown. They're building PGA headquarters in Dallas area. And so and they will obviously at the PGA America headquarters, they want to be able to play Ryder Cups and PGA Championships there. And it's in Texas, and this is in Oklahoma. So basically, it would be too hot to play in August where it used to be. So now they moved to May. All these courses in the Southwest in Oklahoma, Texas are in their primes, and it's not that hot out yet. So that's why they moved it to May to open up for all these other courses. So now you get to see it come to Oklahoma, which you haven't seen in a long time. Has Tiger won in Southern Hills? Tiger did win in 2007 the PGA Championship at Southern Hills. So that's two courses that Tiger has won majors on before that are in this lineup this year. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if he's won at Brookline, but you have at least three. So obviously he's won at Augusta. Masters always at Augusta. And then you have Southern Hills PGA Championship, which he has won at Southern Hills, the PGA Championship before, and the British Open at St. Andrews, which he's also won at that course, the same tournament. So it seems like a great time for Tiger to come back and relive all these memories, and we get to watch. And obviously Tiger, I've said it last week, Tiger coming back is great for the tour. It brings a lot of attention. And honestly, I think it takes pressure off a lot of other players because they don't get as much media attention as they normally would because it's all Tiger, Tiger, Tiger. Which can get annoying to an extent, but at the same time, it's still Tiger Woods. He's one of the greats. He's one of the... I mean, it's like if Michael Jordan was still playing basketball today, it would all be attention on him. It's like LeBron. Like, it's all attention's always on LeBron, except when this is the playoffs, but we won't get into that. But it's so much better when these people are doing good because it brings more attention to the sport, right? So, like, Tiger being there, Tiger doesn't have to do good. All he has to do is play and make the cut, and he's the center of attention for the most part. Until it comes down to winning. If he doesn't win, that person will move to the center of attention. But it'll always be Tiger is going to be a main story no matter what, and it's great for the sport of golf. I said it last week, and I'll always say it. So I'm fine with Tiger playing and taking away attention. I think it eases pressure for other guys to go win. Tiger will always have a lot of pressure on him. These guys can get to relax a little bit, get to be on their own more, I guess, and rather than having to talk to the media as much or getting much attention as they do. So yeah, that's it for Tiger and Phil. Obviously, it's good to see them playing. Players that are getting old, and I mean, it's kind of like these like Tom Brady's and Aaron Rodgers. How we don't know how much time we have left with them, but it's cool to see them play on the PGA Tour before they move to PGA Tour champions while they can. So before I did say we're going to preview some college golf because we got conference championships this week, or yeah, some of them will start before this actually drops on Thursday. Before we do that, we're going to stay with the PGA Tour. And we are going to preview the Zurich Championship. Is it Zurich Championship? Zurich Classic in New Orleans at TPC, Louisiana. So if you don't know, this is a different kind of event. It's a team duos event, which is something we don't really see on tour. It is so like it's teams of two, and the format is it's alternating shot and 4-ball depending on the day. I wrote it down here in my notes. So rounds 1 and 3 are 4-ball. And what a 4-ball means is that you're obviously in a foursome, and the two teams will take the best score out of the two in each hole. So here's the best team, by the way, on paper is Colin Morikawa and Victor Hovland, the top 5 ranked group. Top 5, like both are in the top 5 world ranking. Colin Morikawa and Victor Hovland. Say Colin gets a birdie and Hovland gets a par on the scorecard for their team, you get the birdie. And then alternating shot, and it's alternating shot a little differently. So the way the alternating shot works is that each player gets assigned on the teams, gets assigned a even or odd hole number. So like, again, we'll use Colin Morikawa and Victor Hovland as an example. Colin Morikawa tees off 1. He has odd number holes. He tees off odd number holes for the rest of the round. Victor Hovland gets even numbers. So say on hole 1, Colin tees off, and Victor Hovland makes the last putt for birdie, whatever you want to call it, birdie party. Hovland makes the last putt, makes the putt. He would still tee off, even though it's alternating shot. He would still tee off number 2, Hovland, because it's by the whole number if it's even or odd. So it would be Hovland then tees off, even though he just hit the putt. So it's alternating shot, but it's a little different like that, if that makes sense. Yeah. But so just looking at the field, we do have some good teams. Obviously, I already mentioned it. The best team on paper is Morikawa and Victor Hovland. But now we also have the defending champions are back. Cameron Smith, who's been playing well, missed the cut last week, and Mark Leishman, both Aussies. So call it Team Aussie. If I say Team Aussie, I'm talking about Leishman and Cameron Smith. And then you have Sergio Garcia and Tommy Fleetwood. That's a great team as well. You have Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay, another one. Bubba Watson. Bubba Watson, the third, it says on here. I've never seen that by his name. I did not know he was the third. That's interesting. Oh, it's Bubba Watson the third with Harold Varner the third. Yeah, wow. I don't know. I guess team thirds. You got team thirds. That's a good team. Varner has actually been playing very well recently. He played well with the Players. He played well at the Masters. Then he was actually leading the RBC Heritage at the end of round 3. So he's been playing really well. If I were to say if I were to give a team that's probably not going to be looked at too much as like a chance to win, but I think has a fairly good chance to win, I would say Bubba Watson and Harold Varner the third. I mean, Bubba's Bubba. We all know Bubba. We all love Bubba. And he's fun to watch play. There's not much else to say than that. Those are mainly your big teams. I'm looking down the list here to see if I see anything else. Oh, how I figured that. Scottie Scheffler is making his first start since winning the green jacket in New Orleans as well. He will be playing with... Where'd he go? Where did his name go? Oh, here he goes. He'll be playing with Ryan Palmer. I don't know. Ryan Palmer isn't... He's a name on tour everyone knows, but it's not like... He's not that good. Scottie Scheffler, if he gets a lot of the short game shots and the alternating shot, this could go. They could also have a chance of winning. But again, it's so hard to predict these or like give picks or anything like that in golf in general, but especially these team events, because you just don't get to see... The only time we really see players playing team events like this is the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup. So it's hard to like tell how well they're going to play. Unless it's like a match play, you can look up their records from when they played Ryder Cups, from when they played in the Dell match play before. Like Kevin Kisner is one of the best match play players on tour, and that's easy to tell that he's going to go far in match play every year because he just loves it and he plays well in it. But these guys, it's hard just because like you don't know how these players play together. It's kind of new. It's just a format we don't see, and a lot of people just aren't used to it. Here's another one I just found. It's a good pairing. It's Max Homa and Taylor Gooch. Homa made the cut. That doesn't sound great, but he made the cut for the first time at the Masters last week. So he's on a high, and he also, if you guys didn't see this was actually really funny on Twitter. I was looking. Max Homa loves to respond to people, and he Venmo'd someone $50, I think, and then someone tweeted and goes, Max Homa Venmo would be $50. If you tweet at him, he'll send you $50 too. Max Homa goes, this is not going to end well for me. And someone sent an address and said, please send a pizza. So what Max Homa did is he wrote in the address and he just sent him a picture of a pizza and said, like, I'll get you next time I'm in town. So Max Homa is a great guy. If you can watch any videos or find any videos of him, I believe he's done a lot of stuff with Barstool. He's just really funny and really fun, good guy to watch. I really recommend you watch anything you can, any interviews. It's just great entertainment, fun. He's just a fun, cool guy. And Taylor Gooch has been playing very well this season. He got victory earlier this year. He's played well, as he's been playing well. If you haven't been able to tell, the same guys play well all season. You've got this year, it's really been dominated by Scottie Scheffler and Siri keeps going off on my laptop. Don't know why. Scottie Scheffler and Cameron Smith have really dominated this year. It's been very clear that at the top of a bunch of leaderboards almost every week. Scottie Scheffler's won 4 out of his last 6 events, something like that. And which is a run we have not seen before. Again, I said it last week, but Scottie Scheffler, I love Scottie Scheffler on tour right now. But in general, it's the same players dominating all season. Taylor Gooch has been one of those. He only has 1 win on the season, but he is always up there, right? Like we've been getting used to seeing his name up in the leaderboards, like Sam Burns and all that kind of stuff. Like we've been getting used to seeing these guys, whether or not they've won a lot. We see them at the top every week, and we're getting used to watching them play. They're starting to become household names. They're starting to become known. All they needed is that one good performance in a major, maybe whether or not they win or not, it's where they're in the final group or something like that, and they're a household name, right? So that's what we're starting to see that a lot instead of the normal big names that we see, like Spieth, even though he won this week, or all that kind of, or Rory and all that. Like we're starting to see a bunch of new little names, but they're kind of making good names for themselves. Like they're doing well this year, very well. And then lastly, the last group I'll point out here that I found is Shane Lowry and Ian Poulter. Shane Lowry, as I was talking to my roommate, or my friends about this when I was watching the Masters last week, was that Shane Lowry is someone we always see in the highlight reel, right? Like think about TPC Sawgrass 17, when he made the hole 1 a few weeks ago. He chipped in on 10 at the Masters on a shot that looked like a chunk, but was just like perfect. So you don't he's always in the highlight reel. He had the best chance of winning this last week at the RBC Heritage until that double bogey. But it just, in general, he's always there. Just never really finds a way to win. And I like him. Everyone loves him. He's cool. He's fun. And man, I hope I feel like that's a good match too, Ian Poulter. Ian Poulter can be kind of a hothead, but he's a fun guy. Also makes a lot of good content online and all that kind of stuff, TikToks and everything. So he's cool. That's a fun group to watch if you get the chance to. But again, right now, I would say it's hard to predict. I really do like this Bubba Watson and Harold Varner group. I like that. I would say watch them. If you're going to watch people, watch Bubba and Harold, Colin Morikawa and Victor Hovland, Cameron Smith and Mark Leishman, Scottie Scheffler, obviously, because this is his first one after the Masters, and he just can't stop winning. We'll see if that stays true right now or if his teammate holds him back. Who knows? He could hold his teammate back. Let's see. He did have a week off, so let's hope that's in his favor. Yeah, I mean, those would be the people I would watch to look out for this weekend. Again, Max Homa, Sergio and Tommy Fleetwood as well. Those are my top groups that I would say have the best chance of winning. But again, it's hard to predict these little tournaments because it's all, again, different format. Someone could rise up out of nowhere. At this point, people knew who Cameron Smith was last year, but he wasn't as good as he is right now, making headlines and being everywhere. And now he's like a brand name. He's a marquee group in this tournament after he won the Players. So it's just again, these are really hard to predict. But hey, there you go. There's your preview for the Zurich Classic in New Orleans. Different format, so it should be fun to watch. So college golf is something that we don't get to see a lot on TV. It doesn't make the money that other college sports do, obviously. And it's just the only time we really see it on TV is for the national championship, which is fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. You get to see a lot of players who are about to be huge on tour, like Bryson DeChambeau won the NCAA championship individually. You've seen Victor Hovland's been in one with Oklahoma State. Matthew Wolff has won with Oklahoma State. And we all got this. The first time we really saw them on TV on Golf Channel was when the national championship happened, right? Or when the USAM happens. This is the only time we get to see these young college players, but no one really talks about them too much, right? They only get talked about if they're on the top. But what I want to look at is this upcoming week, you got a lot of conference championship tournaments happening. Some of them, when this podcast drops, will have started already. Here, I'll give you the dates. You got the SEC on You got the SEC tournament on April 19th to 24th, ACC on April 22nd to the 25th, Pac-12 on April 25th to 27th, Big 12 on 25th, 27th as well, and the Big 10 from April 29th to May 1st. So when I was looking at the rankings of the top 25 golf teams ranked, and to give you guys which is the best one, if you can watch it, if it's on TV somewhere, if it's available to you, whether it's on Golf Channel, SEC Network, ESPN, ESPN Plus, wherever it is, if you guys want to watch it, the best ones and the best two to watch will definitely be the Big 12, the SEC, and the ACC right after that. So the Big 12 actually doesn't have the most top 25 teams. The Big 12 has 4 top 25 teams, but all their 4 are in the top 10. SEC has 10 top 10 or top 25 teams. ACC has 6. Pac-12 has 3. 2 of those 3 are in the top 6 for the Pac-12, and Big 10 only has 1, and 1 Power 5, non-Power 5 school. Pepperdine is the only non-Power 5 in the top 25 here. I'll read off the top 25 to you guys in order. It goes Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Vanderbilt, Arizona State, North Carolina, Washington, Texas Tech, Pepperdine, Texas, Arkansas, Georgia Tech, Georgia, Notre Dame, Stanford, Auburn, Florida, Wake Forest, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Illinois, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Clemson, FSU, and LSU. But again, so even though the Big 12 only has 4 top 25 teams, I think it's the best one to watch because you got the best, literally the best teams here. OU and Oklahoma State, 1 and 2. Both Big 12. And then you got Texas Tech at 7 and Texas at 9. It's a jam-packed tournament of those 4 teams are going to be fun to watch, go head-to-head at. And if you don't know how golf tournaments work, in these formats. So with the conference tournaments, and the NCAA does this too. I'm not sure if each conference tournament does this, but I know a lot of them do. It goes, so you have the rounds that you play in normal stroke play tournament. That's where you get your individual champion from. And then after that, you take the top teams from that and they play a match play tournament, which is really fun to watch because you get to see teams go to head to head. And the national championship, it's like a whole bracket thing. And so it's fun to watch, right? Really fun to watch once it gets to that point. And the way the stroke play is scored is that each team has 5 players and the highest score of each round of the team gets dropped. So you only count the top 4 scores, right? So yeah, that's how it gets decided. But really, after looking through everything and then looking through like the top players in the country ranked, and college golf right now runs through the state of Oklahoma, and it's not even close. You got, obviously, again, OU and Oklahoma State are 1 and 2. They have both won national championships fairly recently in recent years. Let me see, when was Oklahoma State's last golf national championship? Let's see. And I know they did win at their home course. So Oklahoma State's last national championship was in 2018 for golf. And for OU, and OU is 2017. So these have been the 2 powerhouses in golf right now for a while. Oklahoma State even prides themselves on calling themselves a golf school. I mean, right now you got Ricky Fowler, who's historically been good. Obviously, we went over how he's going through some bumps in the road right now earlier in the podcast. But you have Ricky Fowler, Victor Hovland, who's top 5 in the world right now, Matthew Wolff, who hasn't been playing well, but he can get there. He's one of the better players on tour that is known about. But Oklahoma State runs deep golf-wise. They won 11 national championships for golf. 11. Like they call themselves a golf school. They're known for this. Like that's their thing, is golf. Not a lot of schools can say that. And OU obviously has been good as well. Their last championship was 2017. It's not that long ago. Right now, I mean, it's just like, think about a few years ago when both Auburn and Alabama were at their primes, and well, Alabama's still at their prime, obviously, in football, but whatever. I mean, like a few years ago when it used to be the winner of that game of the Iron Bowl would always either be in the Natty or win the SEC, whatever. The what OU Oklahoma State is like right now. Like it's college golf runs through the state of Oklahoma. It's not even close. And they have, out of the top 25 players in the country, Oklahoma State is tied for second most with 2. They're tied with A&M, Oklahoma State, OU, and Texas. So that's all the people have 2. Vanderbilt is first with 3. But if you look at the actual names and stuff like that, so you got number 2. The number 2 best player in the country is an Oklahoma State Cowboy. It's Eugene Lopez Shakara. Not sure how to pronounce that. Again, sorry if I'm wrong. I'll correct myself afterwards. If someone tells me, I'll look it up. I'll make sure. We're good. But he has a scoring average of the second lowest scoring average right now, or not second, but one of the lowest scoring averages right now with 69.54. His record against top 25 players is 21-1, and against 26 to 50 ranked players is 22-0. Like this kid's been dominating all year. And the highest player for OU is Logan McAllister. Nope, sorry, that's second highest player for OU is Logan McAllister at 11. The highest player at OU is senior Chris Gotterup, whose scoring average is 70.1 right now, 13-5 record against other top 25 players, and 16-1 against 26 to 50 ranked. Like these kids have been dominating, and I looked at it before. OU has not finished outside the top 4 in any tournament as a team this year. Again, just dominating. Top 4. They're in first and second every single time they play. And for Oklahoma State, they have one where they finished 7th out of 15, which was by far their worst performance. But the rest on that tournament, but for the rest of the tournaments, they've also just been like OU, and they've at least the top 4 and everything. Like these 2 teams have been absolutely dominating this year against good competition. And I mean, they are going to contend for the national championship. Imagine if that final match play for the national championship was Bedlam, OU, Oklahoma State. That's wild. That'll be on TV. That'll be on Golf Channel. That's great. Like, we want to see this rivalry, right? Like, this is cool. This is great. OU, Oklahoma State. Again, Bedlam. And college golf right now runs through the state of Oklahoma. It's not even close. It really isn't. The only one that can come close to them, and it's the next two ranked teams, I believe, right? Is Arizona State? Yeah, Arizona State and Vanderbilt. Now, the top player in the country right now is Sam Bennett, senior out of Texas A&M. And Texas A&M is ranked... Where'd they go? Texas A&M is ranked 19th. But they have the top player. Again, that's another reason why SEC is second. The only reason why I have Big 12 tournament as the top to watch is because it's all their top 25 teams in the top 10. Like, it's just amazing. It's great. But other than that, again, Big 12, state of Oklahoma. Now, something I do find interesting is I was looking at the NCAA championship tournament this year, and the championship tournament is in Scottsdale. Now, I don't know if this is Arizona State's home course, because they're in Tempe, and they probably have their own course, but I'm sure they've played at this course before, because, I mean, it's right in their backyard. We've seen it happen a lot. Like, when Oklahoma State won their national championship, it was on their home course, their last one. So it's been a trend to where that teams win at their home courses, obviously, because they know it the best. So I'm not saying that I am predicting Arizona State right now. Maybe I am. Maybe I am a little bit, but after OU and Oklahoma State, I think Arizona State has a great chance to win the Natty this year, just because, I mean, it's in their backyard. That's a huge advantage in golf. Huge. I mean, if you're going there and you can practice there all the time, it's right in your backyard, you have a huge advantage. You know all the breaks. You know everything. To where most of these teams will be coming in, this is the first time they would have played this course. Maybe second if they had like a preview tournament. Like, it's just not the same. So again, right now, I'm not saying my pick is Arizona State, but I'm saying I think they have a pretty good chance. This was all about Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, but all I'm saying is Arizona State, keep an eye on them. They are ranked number 4, but keep an eye on them for the rest of the year. So that is all I have for you guys today. Again, jam-packed episode between Tiger, the match, RBC Heritage, the Zurich Classic. We put in, and college golf. Can't forget about college golf. We packed everything we could into this episode today. Thank you to everyone who helps me make this. Thank you to the audio engineers. Thank you to the video editors. Again, if you're listening on Spotify, go check it out on YouTube on Tunnel Vision Sports YouTube page, our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, listen again on Spotify when you're driving. Whatever. And also, again, follow the @Par71 podcast on Instagram. DM me your questions, and I would love to answer them. I want this last part to be you guys. I want some fan engagement. If I get enough questions, I'll even do a whole episode on when golf news gets slow. I'll even do a whole episode of questions. So I will answer your questions if you ask. DM @Par71 podcast on Instagram. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for listening. I hope it was a lot better than last time. Again, send me your questions. Please send me your questions and follow Par71 podcast. Once again, this has been Par71 with Matt LaSerre, presented by Tunnel Vision Sports. See you guys next week.